Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Today we have WCW New Blood Rising 2000 custom DVD review. Now I'll go over the cover artwork first before I go over all the matches and give my thoughts and opinions on everything. So we have the cool logo, I guess it was, at the top there, and with Kevin Nash, Booker T, Scott Steiner and Goldberg there. And then there's just various screenshots of moments throughout the evening. Our time is now. There's the disc. There's the spine. And I must say I did enjoy, I did appreciate the ring apron and the stage set out. It looked really cool. I like the logo and everything that was on the ring apron. So that was something positive to say about it so far. There's the back. And I'll go over some stats and then I'll go over the matches and everything else and then give you my opinions on it all, as always. So, this was from Vancouver, British Columbia, from the Pacific Coliseum. We had 6,614 in attendance this evening, and this was held on August 13th, 2000, and this replaced what usually would be Road Wild for the August pay-per-view for WCW. So this was the first ever and last ever New Blood Rising. And I'm going to use a certain word now before I start going over all the matches, and I've also got something else to tell you with that. So, interference, yes, big keyword again. We know why, don't we? And yes, every single match on here, apart from two, have outside interference. And I shit you not, we have a card of, I think it's 11 matches. Only two of them don't have outside interference. And also, each match on the card was contested under no disqualification rules, which was never announced before the show, but you know, that was the reason for a lot of the stuff that goes on here, apparently. So, with the first match, we kicked off the show with probably one of the best matches of the evening, and that's not saying a great deal. We had Free Count against the Young Dragons in a gold record ladder match. So Tank Abbott was with Free Count being Evan Courageous, Shannon Moore and Shane Helms. The Young Dragons, or Young Dragons, however you want to pronounce it, was Kaz Hayashi, Jamie San and Young Yang. So the match itself had some good moments. It was quite an interesting spot fest, to be honest. It was a good way to get the crowd all ready for the show, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. The match, it wasn't bad, that is. I felt Tank Abbott was quite bad. You know, he was meant to be, I don't know, fascinated with Free Count. He couldn't even sing their song with them properly. He didn't even know the words. And he had a Free Count t-shirt on. And you know, Free Count's logo, some of you may know, had 3 dots underneath the word Free Count. He cut out holes to reveal his nipples on the t-shirt, which I found very strange. Also, he did try and basically, you know, cheat to help Free Count pick up the victory, but he left the ring after the match with the gold record and the contract. The purpose for what I can make out why the match was, is that Free Count wanted to be able to sing songs anytime they want, and they needed the contract to do it for a new record. And if the Young Dragons had won, then Free Count wouldn't be allowed to make a new record, or I don't know, something really bizarre like that. Some strange stipulation. But anyway, yes, Tank Abbott helped Free Count win. So yeah, there you go. Interference number 1. What a surprise. But yeah, like I said, it was a fun opener, apart from that weird shit going on. And next up we had the Great Muta, who's quite a legend in the 80s, early 90s, and I guess throughout the 2000s a little bit as well. You know, he was, I consider him a legend, definitely. Maybe more in Japan, but I appreciate his work. He was against Ernest the Cat Miller, who I've never really been a fan of, to be honest. I just don't understand him. He's a bit of a strange one. But anyway, so Ernest the Cat Miller at this time was general manager of WCW, and he had this match for whatever reason. I don't think it was properly explained, but before the match took place, he made a deal with the Filthy Animals to help him win the match. And he didn't really look like he needed it. It looked like the Great Muta was struggling to beat Ernest Miller, and it's just really bad. But anyway, we did get interference. Yeah, of course. Like I said, expect interference. It was from Tigress, however you want to pronounce her name, from the Filthy Animals, and she came in and helped Ernest Miller with the victory. Moving on to the next match, we had Buff Bagwell against Chris Kanyon in a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. So, yeah, you heard me right, guys. Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. So basically, Judy Bagwell is Buff Bagwell's mother, for those of you who didn't know. And she was meant to be on a pole in this match. So it was going to be a Judy Bagwell on a pole match. But according to Chris Kanyon, who's looking like DDP for some reason at this point, and dressing like him and has all of his mannerisms and his theme music and everything still. For some reason, Chris Kanyon seemed to have thought that he couldn't find a pole that would hold the weight of Judy Bagwell because she's so overweight, that he had to use a forklift instead. So he cable tied her, I guess it is, or chained her, they said, the commentary team, but it looked like cable ties to me, to the forklift on the front and raised her up in the air. And the only way you can get her down is if you lower her, using the gear or whatever it is on a forklift. Don't know whatever you fucking call them. Anyway, yeah, so we had Buff Bagwell trying to get his mother down from this forklift against Chris Kanyon. And Chris Kanyon, if you remember, at Bash of the Beach the month previous to this pay-per-view, he picked up a victory over Booker T, so I thought he was going to be moving into the main event kind of scene, but that wasn't the case. We had interference, yes. You were waiting for that, weren't you guys? Yeah, we did. We had interference. We had it from David Arquette. So David Arquette came out to help Chris Kanyon to try and beat Buff Bagwell, but Buff Bagwell managed to see them both off and beat Chris Kanyon and win back his mother. After the match, David Arquette looked like he was going to hug Chris Kanyon, and Chris Kanyon gave him a diamond cutter, to say thank you for helping me in the match, as you do to your friends, Next match, Chronic were against the Perfect Event, which was Sean Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo. We also had Sean O'Hare and Mark Jindrak, and the Misfits in Action members General Rection and Corporal Cajun. This was a Four Corners match for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. And the Filthy Animals, guys, get this. The Filthy Animals, which is Tigress, Rey Mysterio, Disco Inferno, or Disquo as he was called then, Juventud Guerrera, and Conan. But Conan wasn't involved in this. He was on the commentary team. He was quite funny on the commentary team, but we'll go into that in a sec. The other four members of Filthy Animals were all special guest referees. Yes, so we had 4 special guest referees for this fucking match. And it was just annoying and frustrating to watch. As I said, the Conan's commentary, it kept me entertained more than the match did, because he was ever so funny, just like ripping into Tony Schiavone and, just really insulting him really badly. I was in stitches pretty much with some of the stuff he was coming out with. And I tried, my best to focus on the match, but it was just absolutely frustrating. Like I said, so we had 4 referees who would do slow counts or would break up the pins or interfere in the match, and then they threatened to disqualify anyone that put their hands on them and that kind of shit. But in the end, we had Lieutenant Loco, I think it was, who, yeah, otherwise known as Chavo Guerrero, came out to help Chronic, strangely, uh, retain the championships. Um, yeah, that was a bit of a messed finish as well, and I was just glad to see it over and done with. And the team I wanted to win won anyway, so I look at it as, I guess, not a win-win, but I don't know what to say. You know, it was another dreadful match, honestly. So the best match we've had so far was the free count versus the Young Dragons up to this point. The rest of the matches have all been really awful. So yeah, interference. Yeah, the interference being Chavo Guerrero or Lieutenant Loco, if you will. Match number 5, Billy Kidman versus Shane Douglas in a strap match. Shane Douglas with Tori Wilson. Okay, so I really tried to get into this match. You know, I don't mind strap matches. I've seen quite a few of them recently, strangely enough, um, for reviews, or they've been on TV or for whatever reason. But yeah, there's been quite a lot of strap matches I've watched over recent months. And yeah, I didn't mind this one. It was, you know, I was getting into it. You know, I thought, yeah, this isn't too bad, I guess. You know, and then you know what I'm gonna say. So yeah, Tori Wilson gets involved and costs her partner, I guess it is, friend, I don't know, whatever she was meant to be to him, Shane Douglas. She costs him the match. So Kidman picks up the victory. But we do get to see something interesting afterwards, and that's Kidman putting the strap on Tori Wilson's wrist. There, yeah, got it right that time. Yeah, putting the strap on Tori's wrist, and then proceeding to whip her with the other end of the strap. That was quite entertaining. I thought so anyway. It still wasn't as good as the opening match, but it was a bit of entertainment there. You know, there was a bit of entertainment there. Match number 6, we had Miss Hancock, some of you know as Stacy Keibler, against Major Guns of the Misfits in Action in a mud rip off the clothes match. Yep, you heard me right, a mud rip off the clothes match. What the fuck is that supposed to even mean? Well, basically, I'll explain it to you. So it's like a bra and panties match, I guess, where you got to rip off revealing the bra and panties. But they were both dressed in like camo gear, and yeah, after you've done that to your opponent, you have to then drag them over into this mud kind of bath thing, and then proceed to beat them in there by pinfall. Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah, it was by pinfall. So I had to think for myself a second then what it was. But yeah, so we had both of them managed to rip each other's respective clothes off to get them both down to their brand panties, camo, whatever. They both ended up going to the mud pool, and for some strange reason, Miss Hancock started to have like strange pains in her stomach. And Major Guns took advantage of this, rolled her up for the pin, and got the win. And then David Flair came out, and he was like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Miss Hancock? Or Stacy, what's wrong with you?" And then Major Guns was also concerned about it. And then the commentary team were saying, this isn't part of the show, guys. This isn't part of the script. We're worried. We're concerned. But it turns out it was like a fake pregnancy storyline, and she'd miscarried the baby or something, David Flair's baby. Very poor taste indeed. And yeah, it was a bit of a strange match, that one. There was interference in it. I'm just trying to think what it was now. I think there was anyway. I apologise if that's not the case. And then that's 3 matches that don't have interference, but I'm pretty sure there is interference in that. I don't know. I was just trying to concentrate on getting the match done as quick as possible, and the commentary team on there were quite entertaining as well. Just all these comments about oh, can she stay in that position? Oh, that looks good. Anyway, match number 7, we had the Demon, member of the Dark Carnival with the Great Muta and Vampiro. He took on Sting in a singles match. Me being a Stinger fan, thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one. And of course, I haven't told you guys yet. I've never seen this pay-per-view in its entirety before. I've only seen what I've read, like pictures of it as well. I've seen in the official magazine back in the day when it got released, and I've seen probably highlights of a few of the matches as well. But then I just put it to the back of my mind over the years. So to watch this show in its entirety was pretty cool. And yeah, I was getting really, excited about Sting is Stinger, yeah, me being like a child. Anyway, Sting against the Demon. Sting comes down from the rafters on a, cable, whatever it is, lowering him down. The Demon proceeds to attack him straight away. Sting fights back, throws him in the ring. Scorpion Death drops him. 1, 2, 3, match over. 52 seconds. Yes, 52 seconds. So this is one of the matches that don't have interference and lasts 52 fucking seconds. What? And it was a Sting match as well. Oh no. Yeah, he got the victory. Yeah, but 52 seconds. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more action. But no, that was it. That's your lot for that match. And then after that, we get the other Dark Carnival members come down and attack Sting, Vampiro and the Great Muta. And it looks like they're proceeding to hang Sting from his cable and then hire the cable up, to hang him. And out comes Chronic to save Sting, who beat up all 3 members of the Dark Carnival, and then issue them a challenge to face them later on in the evening on this pay-per-view. So we're going to get a tag team championship match added to this pay-per-view now between Chronic, who are the champions, and Dark Carnival members, the Great Muta, who has already wrestled the Cat earlier this evening, and Vampiro. Anyway, guys, moving on. Match number 8, Lance Storm against Mike Awesome. Now this is very confusing. So, Canadian rules match for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. And this was a time when Lance Storm was carrying around the United States Championship and calling it the Canadian Championship. He was also the Cruiserweight Champion. I can't remember what he called that champion. He renamed that as well. And he was also the Hardcore Champion of WCW. So he held 3 championships. He renamed all 3 of them. And this match was for the United States Championship, which he refers to as the Canadian Championship. And this match was under Canadian rules, and it had a Canadian enforcer with a Canadian rule book outside the ring. The Canadian enforcer being Jacques Rougeau, formerly known as the Mountie in the WWF. Anyway, so the match itself, 2 former ECW wrestlers being Lance Storm and Mike Awesome. I thought, yeah, this is going to be pretty cool anyway. Let's just get on with it. Fuck the rules. I'm just ignoring their crap. I'm just going to enjoy the match. So, yeah, so far so good. Mike Awesome, 1, 2, 3, should be new champion, right? The ring announcer goes to announce a new champion, but wait, there's Mr. Rougeau with his rule book, his Canadian rule book. No. Canadian rules state this must be a 5 count, in order to pick up a victory. Canadian rules is a 5 count for a pinfall. So the match gets restarted. Mike Awesome doesn't care. He beats down Lance Storm some more, pins him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. New champion, right? No. The ring announcer goes to announce new champion, but no, cut off again by Mr. Rougeau. No. The Canadian rule book states that it must be done by a 5 count and then you have to count 10 after that to see if the guy lying on the mat who's just been pinned 5 can get to their feet after 10. So the match continues. Mike Awesome makes Lance Storm tap out. Jack Rougeau says, no, the match must be won by pinfall. And all this, and I thought, oh, God's sake, with these fucking rules. Mike Awesome's won already. Just give him the fucking championship. But no. Guess what happens? Yes, interference. So we get both men lying down on the floor. And the first one who gets up after the 10 count will be the champion. So the ref's watching one of them. And Jacques Rougeau's watching... the ref's watching Lance Storm. Jacques Rougeau's watching Mike Awesome. I know this is really confusing, guys. It confused me as well. And the ref's there making sure that Lance Storm gets to his feet first, which he does because Jacques Rougeau makes sure Mike Awesome doesn't by attacking him. So Lance Storm retains the championship in a match which, like I said, started off fun until all these rules just started to get into place. Make it up as you go along kind of bullshit. So yeah, stupid. Let's move on. Match number 9. The Dark Carnival, Vampiro and the Great Muta were against the tag team champions Chronic for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. So yeah, I guess this wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. It was a good match, and then we got to the end and we had my favourite word I'm going to say again, interference. That's right. This time it was the Harris brothers who came from the crowd and attacked poor Chronic to give the Dark Carnival the win, and Vampiro and the Great Muta are now the new WCW World Tag Team Champions, thanks to the Harris twins or Harris brothers or whatever the fuck they're called. Good match, ruined by an ending that was through interference. Match number 10, Kevin Nash versus Goldberg versus Scott Steiner in a triple threat #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship match. Kevin Nash and Goldberg start the match off. Goldberg decides to come down about 5 minutes into the match with a chair and attacks Nash. And then Scott Steiner attacks Goldberg. Goldberg wrestles them both for a bit, gets a bit bored and decides to walk away, starts to walk up to the ramp or out to the back or whatever you want to call it. Out comes Vince Russo. You get back in that ring, Goldberg. You get back in there, you finish that match. And then Goldberg says, fuck you, as clear as he can. So the camera and audio picked up that. And I thought, that was pretty extreme for WCW to have language like that back then. Because they're quite, well, I don't know, they would usually bleep it, but yeah, he was quite clear of what he said. And then, yeah, Goldberg left. Vince Russo puzzled to what he was going to do. He'd left. Nash and Steiner carried on the match. And I thought, yeah, we're going to get a nice winner out of these two. I don't mind. Hopefully it's Steiner. I hope it's Steiner, I was saying to myself. Out comes Medeja to guess what? Yes, that's right, interfere. She climbs up on the ring apron. Nash takes advantage of that because the ref's distracted and decides to low blow Scott Steiner. And I think that was right. Yeah, something like that. And then Medeja gets in and trips up the referee somehow by just touching his legs. It was weird. And then low blows Kevin Nash, who falls to the floor. She gets back out the ring again. Steiner recovers, goes to pin Nash, and then I think Steiner gets low blowed again or something, and then I think that's what happened. Something like that. There's lots of low blows going on. And Nash recovers again, and then Medeja comes in and low blows him a second time. Steiner looks like he's going to win, but Nash kicks out, and then after all that interference anyway, all that crap going on, Nash manages to win. So Nash is now the #1 contender in a mess of what was supposed to be a triple threat match. It just ended up being Nash against Steiner most of the match. Started that way, it ended that way. Goldberg just showed up and then left. Oh yeah, Goldberg also had like his ribs taped up. Apparently he had like broken ribs from a motorcycle accident. They didn't even know if he was going to show up. It's not on the script. It's not on the script, guys. You know, they just keep bullshitting us, saying it's all not part of the script. You know, about that and about Stacy Keibler. We're going to get on to the main event because I'm just babbling on here again, guys. I'm ever so sorry. So we had Booker T against Jeff Jarrett. Singles match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And poor Booker T, whose championship winning moment at the Bash of the Beach was overshadowed by all that bullshit going on with Hogan and that. But he had a chance to make up for it here. And he took on Jeff Jarrett and he managed to retain the championship in a match that never had no outside interference. Woohoo! I was over the fucking moon about that. I really was. The match itself, yeah, you know, as I said, each match had no DQ in it, so there was lots of weapons being used, and Jarrett used his guitar and everything else, but it wasn't enough. Booker T managed to defeat him anyway. I felt sorry for Booker T, I must say as well, guys, because as he was coming out during his entrance, he went to greet all the fans and everything. One of the fans tried to pull him over the barrier, and he was like, you know, really pissed off about that. It was strange. He like yanked his arm, like they were pulling him over the barrier. And later on, after he'd celebrated his win over Jeff Jarrett as well, someone launched like a whole, you know, like those McDonald's Coke cups with a straw, like a whole cup full of fucking Coke in his face. He's like, you know, fuck you to whoever done it. And I was like, what the hell was that all about? Hostile crowd or what? But yeah, this pay-per-view, what a joke. I mean, entertainment-wise, it does hold some entertainment value, but this is the worst WCW pay-per-view I've ever seen. And it's getting a score of 2 out of 10 for me. You know, nothing apart from its good looks, the good-looking ring apron and everything else. The logo looks cool. They shouldn't have got rid of Road Wild. They should have kept that instead. Let me know in the comments below what you think, guys. Sorry I droned on about it all. I just wanted to get all my thoughts out there on it all. And yeah, worst ever WCW pay-per-view. I just needed to see it in its entirety for myself to be the judge of it. I've done it now. I won't be returning to that. I wouldn't have thought anytime in the future. Next up, it's Full Brawl 2000, which I'll look to review in the next few weeks if you guys are interested in me doing that. Yeah, feel free to like if I deserve it today, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and by all means comment. Comment about this show if you've seen it, if there's one you want to see or want to get for your collection as a custom. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and opinions on that. But that's it for me today, guys. I'm done. I've already packed up already because I've had enough talking about that stupid pay-per-view. Right. Stay safe, guys. I'll catch you again soon. Peace.